Hi there, and thank you for joining us at PartOutPRO. PartOutPRO is a tool geared towards salvage businesses. There's a lot this tool can do, but today, let's look at how it can streamline your listing process alongside improving listing quality and unlocking vehicle value, all without subscribing to a full-fledged yard management system. Once you've signed up for a PartOutPRO account and configured your subscription, there's three main things to do before you're ready to list. 1. Ensure you have an eBay store subscription. This is in addition to having an eBay account. 2. Set up business policies for your eBay store. These are settings and preferences PartOutPRO will use when launching products to eBay. And 3. Configure your image order and seller information within PartOutPRO. You can set up your eBay store for as little as $7 a month. First, sign into eBay, click on your account in the top left, click Manage My Store, go to the Store tab and click Manage Subscription, and choose which store level works for you. The next step is to set up some business policies. This is required to launch listings through PartOutPRO. Go to your My eBay page, click Account, and locate the business policies. From this page, you can create policies by clicking on the Create Policy button. Moving on to your settings within PartOutPRO. Navigate back to PartOutPRO and head to the Channels tab. Click Management and click View Details. From here, you can set up image order settings between your product images, diagram images, and the vehicle image. You can also include your seller information, including about the seller, warranty, and return policy information. This will be displayed in your listing's descriptions. With all that set up, you're ready to move on to the fun part, adding your first vehicle. Go to the Yard tab. From there, enter the VIN in this bar. Then click Add Vehicle. A dialog box will appear allowing you to choose submodel and engine information. You'll be taken to a page where you can fill out the rest of the configuration for your vehicle, including color, mileage, location, and images you may have of that vehicle. Images added here will be applied to products created from this vehicle's parts. For your first vehicle, you'll have to come up with a yard name and type it out. This will add that to your list of yards, and then you can select that yard for any other vehicles added going forward. You can then choose the body style, drive type, and transmission configurations, along with other details such as brake systems, body codes, steering, and wheelbase options. Being accurate here will help with generating the correct parts in the build sheet. This will make more sense shortly. Once you've filled out all the details for your vehicle and have clicked Add Vehicle to Yard and Manage Parts, you'll be taken back to your yard. Here you'll see your vehicle and can drill into its details by clicking on the VIN. Depending on a few factors, it may take anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of hours to generate the build sheet. Once the build sheet is generated, we'll be able to create a pick sheet, a list of all the parts that meet certain criteria. To get started, click Pick Sheet. Then choose 30, 60, or 90 days under Last Sold Within. This will narrow down the part numbers that have sold on eBay within that time frame. Next, specify a minimum new and used sold price. This will weed out parts that aren't worth your time. Then, click Export Build Sheet. This will download as a CSV spreadsheet that contains data on how often and for how much actual listings with these matching part numbers sell for on eBay. Columns A through D are relatively straightforward. Vehicle and part information. Columns E and F represent how many matching used parts have sold on eBay in your specified time frame and for how much. Columns G and H are the same as E and F, but for new parts. Columns I and J indicate how many of this part number are live on eBay right now for both new and used conditions. Column K is the average price of listings with that matching part number, both new and used combined. We can extract more accurate guidance further on, but for now, this is a good ballpark number. You can use this sheet to further filter down parts you want to target. For example, say you want to list the parts that move quickly and sell for at least $500. Sort column E, used sold quantity, by high to low, and filter column F to greater than 500. Or say you want to find gaps in the eBay inventory. You could also filter down to parts with a low live listing quantity, but still show strong selling metrics. We could spend all day on this sheet, but let's pick one promising part and work through the process of listing it. Copy that part number and head on back to PartOutPRO. We are back in our vehicle's detail page. Click View Build Sheet. On this page, you'll see similar metrics from the pick sheet when expanding out part groups. For now, let's paste our part number in the search bar. Expand the component and select the checkbox on the left. Then click Stage Individual Product. This will send just that part to the queue. We can add multiple parts to the queue and work through them later, but for now, let's click into the queue and finish up that product. Here you'll see plenty of information about the part already filled out. Previously, I mentioned further tuning pricing info. Let's click into Market Insight, where you'll see other listings on eBay with the same part number. You can filter down to live and sold listings, as well as new and used listings. Then you can select similar listings to generate a more accurate price. You can then add images of the part. We've already included diagram images and have ported over the vehicle images if you've included them. Moving on, you can select the condition, whether or not the part is still bolted, the product name, and description. You can auto-generate both of these. You'll then move through the recommended item specifics. We've done our best to generate information we're sure about and have provided you related item-specific fields that you can fill out on your own. The fitment section includes every vehicle we've generated the same part number for. However, if something doesn't look right, you can remove that vehicle as a valid fit before launching it to eBay. Lastly, you'll publish to eBay. Checking this box will bring up any eBay stores you've connected to PartOutPRO. Selecting one will allow you to choose which business policies you've set up this listing will be launched with. You can also include package weight and dimensions. Clicking Create Product will launch this directly to eBay, and you can move on to the next. Now that we've covered the basics, let's quickly go over how you can batch this process out. Head back to the build sheet. For example's sake, I'm going to add 5 parts to my queue by selecting 5 parts and clicking Stage Individual Products. Clicking back into the queue, I'll be taken to the most recent addition. However, I can work on anything in the queue by clicking the queue button in the top right. I'll then simply work through the queue, listing all the products I've previously added. And that's how you can start with just a VIN and end up with complete live listings of parts you're confident will sell in just a few steps.